Alright, howdy partners. Today we're doing a tier list on Cartoon Network shows. Now this is mainly from the 2000s, maybe early 2010s, something like that. So, I want to point out that I have seen most of these things. A lot of things, but there are some things that I either haven't seen or I haven't seen in so long that I feel like I have no opinion in them. So I'm just going to get those off the bat right now. Garfield, never seen. Beyblade's an interesting one because out of all the shows as a kid that made kids want to spend their parents' money, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Digimon, Beyblade, I've never actually seen Beyblade, but I own the Beyblades. Bakugan I've seen, but I haven't seen in so long. Hector con Carne, I've seen, but I haven't seen it in so long. I have no opinion. Same thing with Robot Jones. Whatever happened to Robot Jones? I don't know what this is. Squirrel Boy? No, I feel like I remember Squirrel Boy. Cow and Chicken, I feel like I barely remember. I don't know what this is. I barely watched this. I remember this being on, but never watching it. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. What's the 3000? I don't know what this is. Never watched this. Duck Dodgers. I remember it being on. Same thing with Atomic Betty. I remember it being on and I remember watching it, but I remember nothing about it. I've never actually seen the Clone Wars. That is on my list of things I want to watch, though. I don't know what this is. Don't know what this is. I haven't seen the X-Men show since I was like 7. I don't know what I Am Weasel is. You know, I'm putting Pokemon Chronicles in here. I've seen Pokemon Chronicles, but I don't care. I'm just gonna do Pokemon. Batman the Brave and the Bold I never saw. I've seen a couple episodes, but that's it. Robot Boy? Nah, I feel like I remember enough about Robot Boy to give a thing. I don't know what this is. I've never seen Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I don't think I've ever seen Sheep in the Big City. Sheep in the Big City came out it came out at the wrong time for me. Cause when it came out, I was still a baby. I didn't really have a conscious memory until after that show ended. But yeah, so wow, there's really a lot on here that wow, okay. Okay, so we're gonna start it off with I'm gonna plug my mouse in real quick. I'm doing this with a laptop trackpad and it's not exactly optimal. Give me 1 second. Very unprofessional with me. Okay. Move my water. Okay. So we're gonna start it off with regular show. Regular show. Guess we're just gonna start off with S tier. The thing I like most about regular show is that the show is not for kids. It's on Cartoon Network, but it's not for kids. Trust me. This show is just random fun. At the last few seasons I didn't see, admittedly, but from what I saw, I was so happy to see this show. When it was on, I like it more than Adventure Time. I actually don't know if Adventure Time is even on this list. That's weird. They included regular show, but not Adventure Time. But man, it has such likable characters, and I like how it's the title is it's anything but because the show is called Regular Show. It's sweet. I wish I had more to say about it. I wanna talk more about this, but there's a lot of fucking things on here, and I don't wanna talk too much about each thing. Totally Spies. Yeah. Totally Spies is interesting. It's kind of like Powerpuff Girls, where it's this show that's has the main characters as girls, but it kind of appeals to both audiences. This definitely appeals to girls more than it does to guys, but I remember watching this as a show and enjoying it. I liked it. There was a game on CartoonNetwork.com that I played that was based on Totally Spies. It was funny, because it was just a 2D platformer, nothing else, and when my sister would walk into the room, I'd be like, oh, I gotta put my computer away, oh, she can't see this, or whatever. But, So, Totally Spies was, from what I remember, I liked it. There's an episode that I remember vividly. It's like, there was like this salon where they only allowed redheads to join, and the one girl was a redhead, but she wasn't allowed to. What's her name? Sam? And then the red girl, Clover, like got a red wig, and they were like, "Oh, I like her. I like her too." George in the Jungle. Listen, I didn't like this as a kid. I doubt I'm gonna like it as a. I doubt I'm gonna like it as an adult. Same thing with Squirrel Boy. Um, I'm gonna wait on Digimon. I'm gonna wait on that. Tell you all later. Codename Kids Next Door. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I probably enjoy it as much as Totally Spies. Like, this show's a classic. It's funny how they say they have a secret base, and it's just like a house with this giant ass fucking tree with weapons coming out of it, an entire hangar and stuff. It's hilarious, but this show's cool. Couple episodes that really stand out to me are the ones where number 5 is by herself doing her own little adventure thing separate from everybody else. Those were always my favorite episodes, but it's funny how, like, the codename Kids Next Door, as soon as you turn, like, what is it, 13? Yeah, I think so. Like, you are banned from the Kids Next Door because you're no longer a kid. And there was, like, a special where it was, like, the first Kids Next Door. The first one, and he's an adult, and he's still, like, he's still kicking ass. They have an entire, like, base on the fucking moon, which is funny, but, I'm putting in B tier, it's fun. Ed, and Eddie, controversial, C tier. So, as a kid, I would have put this in S tier, but get out of here. But, as an adult, this came up when I recommended on YouTube. It was like 24-hour Ed, and Eddie stream. And I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, how did I watch this as a kid? Like, I was actually like embarrassed that I watched it. But again, as a kid, this is like up here. But as an adult, it's C tier. But there are some good episodes, and there are some funny things, and I think the later seasons where they were in school, like where they took them out of the cul-de-sac and focused on their school life, I really feel like that kind of ruined Ed, and Eddie. But that's just me. Ben 10. Ben 10 is A tier. Like, I'm only putting it in A tier because I'm putting Alien Force in S tier. So, let's talk about Ben 10 first. Ben 10 is a cool concept. I think we all wanted an Omnitrix when we were kids. The first thing he ever showed off was him turning into Heat Blast, and Heat Blast is cool. I guess he's not. I guess he's hot, but there was also some cool ones that a lot of people liked. Like Accelerate's my favorite out of the original Ben 10. And you always got like Diamond Head and Forearms, and like you had Kevin. I like him more in Alien Force, but how he got all of the Omnitrix's powers, and how Gwen became a sorcerer. And like, I like how from the beginning it showed off this like mystery of like who Uncle Max is, or Grandpa Max, whatever. And how when he turned into Heat Blast, Gwen and Ben were like, "Hey, I'm a monster," and Grandpa Max looks at him and goes, "No, you're an alien." And they're like, "How do you know that?" And he's just like, "Oh." So, then we find out what plumbers actually are and stuff. And it's fun. Now, Alien Force is like that, but like times 10. Like, everything I said about it is like times 10. I think the alien designs are cooler. Big Chill is my favorite alien of all time. I like the Ultimate Alien concept. I like Alien X. Like, this show is just like a more grown up, but still kid version. But still for kids-ish Ben 10. And if you haven't seen Ultimate Alien or Alien Force, do it. Omniverse isn't on here, but I put it with the original Ben 10. It looks weird, but it's good. Code Lyoko. Get out of here. Code Lyoko. Them beats here. I remember really liking this as a kid. You know, I think I've seen videos of it now where they did like the CGI, the 3D animated, and it looks absolutely god awful. But as a kid, Code Lyoko was cool. I forget the dude's name, the dude with the sword, but I remember the dude's name was Odd, and back to the past now. That dude, what was his name? Jeremy? I'm probably wrong, but I feel like his name was Jeremy. I'm gonna look it up actually on my phone. So prepare to sit in silence for a few seconds. Yeah, his name is Jeremy. Okay, I'm surprised I remembered that. Okay, but it's cool. Beats here. Courage. It's welcome to S tier. Man, dude, this show freaked out a lot of kids. My age. I was not one of them. I fucking love this show. Like, even as a kid, dude, Return the Slab was still one of my favorite episodes. I think this was like the very first episode, like part of the first episode, because it's one of those shows where it's like a two-parter over 30 minutes. But it's the one where they're in the cat's hotel and the spiders. And fun fact about me is that I'm terrified of spiders, but that episode was always like one of my favorites. And the concept of them living in the middle of nowhere, and then just all this shit happening to them. You had the stuff with the hunchback, with the bells. You had the duck, Pepe, you had the quack. You had, Freaky Fred. Like, there's so much to like about this show. I would like them to, like, remake this show, but put it on Adult Swim instead of Cartoon Network. And just take everything up like 10 notches. And then that would be the perfect cartoon. What is this? Oh, Crypto the Super Dog, that's D tier. Look, as a kid I didn't like this show. I'm just gonna say it right now, dude. I'm sorry. Maybe it's better as an adult, I don't know. Dexter's Laboratory. And I feel like it's between these two. I'm gonna put an A. Dexter's Laboratory is fun. Like, the whole concept of, like, he has this secret-ass laboratory that nobody in his family knows about, but, apparently their power bill ain't going up, like, 100%, or 1,000% probably, but it's cool. Like, I've been told I look like Dexter, and I'm not a fan of that, so stop saying I look like Dexter. But it's funny how Dee Dee tries to, like, get into his lab all the time. Or she does get into his lab all the time and she fucks everything up. It's funny. Class of 3000. I remember liking this show enough, but not enough to put it any higher. Like, I don't really remember this show that much, if I'm being honest with you. But, yeah, it's C tier. I remember my boy, Philly Phil. That was my dude. Life and Times of Juniper Lee. So, fun fact about this show. This came out the same summer as Camp Lazlo. And I remember they hyped up Juniper Lee so much, and I was hyped for it. I had to have been somewhere between the ages of, like, 8 to 10, maybe, when it came out. And I remember they did a commercial, and they're like, we're now going to show off our newest cartoon. And I'm like, yes, Life and Times of Juniper Lee. And it was Camp Lazlo. And I'm like, what the fuck is this show? I've never seen this. But, this show I remember really liking it as a kid. Like, she has to, if I remember correctly, she saves Orchid Bay from, like, threats. And only her brother, and her dog can see the threats. If I'm remembering correctly. Because I remember there was an episode where she was going to go on vacation, but she legit couldn't leave the city. Like, she hopped up in a car and she couldn't go past a wall because it would not let her leave since she was the city's protector. But that's cool. Teen Titans, the second controversial one, A tier. The only reason I'm putting it in A tier is because, well, first of all, I like these shows more, but Young Justice, I think, is Teen Titans, but better. But Teen Titans kind of does have everything. It's got such likable characters. It's got, great theming. It's got Some really fun episodes. Some really like kind of scary, I guess. Word. Not really scary, but more like eerie. That's the word I'm looking for. With the whole thing with Raven and her father Trigon and whatnot. And hey, man, this was probably. Let me look at this real quick. This is the only show that has ever made me cry. When Tara died, I remember watching that episode as a kid and crying. And it's DC. I prefer DC to Marvel. I wish that it had continued because it left off on this massive ass cliffhanger of an episode. It never did, unfortunately. But yeah, I do think it's overrated, but I do think it's S tier. I'm gonna leave it there for now. Maybe I'll move it down later. Camp Lazlo. I liked this show as a kid, but I didn't like it as much as these shows. It was cool. It was funny. Obviously, I had Laszlo, Raj, and Clam, and Master Lumpus, or Lumpus as it's pronounced. They were in Jellybean Cabin, and whatever. Flapjack, dude, I'm sorry, dude. I didn't like Flapjack as a kid. I'm sorry. I didn't like the color scheme. How it was this is even as a kid, I didn't like this the color scheme. Where and just the art style in general, how it's so dark, it's so darkly toned, and it just looks like shit. It's not One Piece. And your boy watched One Piece a little bit when he was a kid. But this show, a lot of people swear by this show. I just think it's a worse Chowder. Is Chowder on here? Yeah, it's on here. Okay. Pokemon. Look, it introduced a lot of us to Pokemon. It was probably for people my age, we're not really kids anymore. I'm 23, but for people my age, this was probably their first anime. If it wasn't this, it was either Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And with that being said, I'm gonna move Digimon to here now. I wasn't planning on doing it after Pokemon, but now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. But yeah, Ash, Pikachu, Brock, Misty, going on an adventure. There's a lot of flaws with the first. This says Indigo League. I'm counting it all. I don't give a shit. But there's a lot of flaws within Indigo League. You had the giant ass Dragonite at the end of the one episode. You had Officer Jenny telling her Growlithe, saying, "Hey, Arcanine, use Flamethrower." It's the wrong Pokemon. But they had some great movies. And my favorite one is either the Lugia one, I think it's movie 2000, and the Latios and Latios one. Those two are tied for me at number one. But Digimon, I feel I think that Digimon as a show is better than Pokemon, as far as plot wise and character wise and whatnot. But Digimon doesn't have that staying power for me because I didn't really watch a whole lot of Digimon growing up. I watched a whole lot of Pokemon, but not a whole lot of Digimon. So if I watched it now, it would probably be even higher. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. If there was a tier above S, I would put it right there. This is my favorite Cartoon Network show of all time, dude. It's such a unique concept of how kids when they sleep and they have dreams and they dream of a basketball player or a giant person to defend them, or a bird, airplane, palm tree person that only says Coco and lay eggs. It's funny. This was really man. When I think nostalgic Cartoon Network shows, I think this one. This show is just take a shot every time I say just but this is I'm at a loss for words right now because I have so much I want to say, but I can't get the words out there. I'm just gonna leave it in S. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's my favorite. I like it more than all of these. Maybe I'll talk about it at the end, but Hi Puffy Yumi. I remember liking the show as a kid. I actually had a game on the GBA, the Game Boy Advance, about this game that I played 4 times. But Yeah, this show is cool. If you didn't know, these they're based on two Japanese pop singers, and they did the opening to Teen Titans, and that's why they the banger opening of Teen Titans that was by these girls, but they weren't animated. But yeah, the show was cool. It was girls just rocking out, having a fun time, going through their RV through the world. Powerpuff Girls. Okay. You know what? No, I'm putting it in S tier, dude. This is totally Spies, but better. Like this show, it's like it has girls as the main characters, but like this really appeals to both genders. It does such a good job of doing it because like even though they're girls, they're like Superman. They're obviously nowhere near as strong as Superman, so do not think I am saying that. But it's like just going around beating the shit out of people. Like this was made in Cartoon Network where like they can show people getting punched in the face and have a teeth knocked out or have a tooth knocked out with blood splattered. Like you would see that a lot in Powerpuff Girls. You don't see that a lot in any of these other shows because people are sensitive now. And man, my first ever crush, uh, Buttercup. Second ever crush, Raven. Raven's still my crush. Anyway, Billy and Mandy. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is like Ed, Edd n Eddy for me. Like I watched it as an adult. I can't fucking do it. It's annoying. I liked it as a kid. Like the one episode that I still like today, I still think it's one of the best episodes out of any show on this list, is The Keeper of the Reaper, where they were in the courtroom and it was the introduction of Fred Burger. That episode is still better than like a lot of other episodes of shows on this list, but it's not enough for me to boost it higher. I know what this is. That's Megas XLR, but I haven't seen this in so long. Chowder. An A tier. So Chowder's cool. It's funny. It has a very interesting art style. It really does. And it's funny. Like all the characters are named after food. They live in what is it, Marzipan City? I'm probably wrong. Unlike with Code Lyoko, I really just don't feel like looking it up right now, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, Chowder, Panini, Mung Dal, Schnitzel. Can we talk about how there was a dude paid to sit there and say Rada Rada the whole episode? Can we talk about that? How that's like the easiest job in the world, probably. But yeah, Chowder's funny. It's good. Why isn't my mouse working? 16. Okay, 16. Put that in B tier. See, this is a show that was fun. It was these kids, and they were 16 years old, and they are in a mall, and they just get into mischief and fuck around with a security guard, and they have social lives and work and stuff. That's cool. B tier. Johnny Test didn't like it as a kid. Probably don't like it now. Robot Boy. I don't remember much about this anime. I don't remember much about this cartoon. But I remember absolutely fucking loving it when I was a kid, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Next up, we got My Gym Partner is a Monkey. Listen, I kind of liked it as a kid. I have no desire to watch it right now. Now, this says total drama action. I'm doing them all. This is just total drama. This is Island Action World Tour, Revenge of the Island All Stars, and there was one after that I actually like watched the first couple episodes of, but didn't continue it. But total drama as a whole is S tier. I fucking love total drama. Okay, like this is another one of those like Teen Titans where it's like a big titty goth girl. You know, you had Raven and Gwen, but it's a parody about shows like Survivor. Fun fact about me, for like a couple years straight, me and my mom would sit down, what was it, Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, something like that. We would just watch every episode of Survivor, and this is just a giant-ass parody of that. But, World Tour is my favorite. It's my favorite series out of the Total Drama series. I really like it, and just, I think all of them are solid enough. Like, I think Island, World Tour, and probably Action would be an S tier, and then like All Stars and Revenge of the Island would probably be an A tier. But like you had such likable characters in the first 3 seasons. Like Alejandro and Duncan are like my favorites. You had Gwen, the big titty goth girl. Everybody likes a big titty goth girl. Anytime I can talk about a big titty goth girl, I will. So be warned. And then you had characters like Bridget who are cool. You had Lashana who's funky. You had Harold who's like me. People keep telling me I look like Harold. Stop telling me I look like Harold. Similar to Dexter. And man, it did have some unlikable characters like Heather, but she's supposed to be like that. Owen's a cool dude, and it's fun. Static Shock. I haven't seen this in a while, but I remember absolutely fucking loving it as a kid. Like, this show is great. I want to rewatch this sometime. It's on my list, so maybe I'll put it up here. I like how they brought him back in Justice League. I wish Justice League was on here. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. But in Unlimited, when they traveled to the future, they had Static Shock there, and it was cool. Mucha Lucha? I'll put that in C tier. I don't know. I do remember liking it as a kid, but I barely remember it. Johnny Bravo. Oh boy. Oh boy, Johnny Bravo. I love me some Johnny Bravo, dude. Johnny Bravo is one of those shows where, like, I feel like a lot of these shows were, like, good as a kid, but, like, okay, they were great as a kid, but they're, like, good as an adult. Johnny Bravo was good as a kid, but great as an adult. Like, when you're a kid, you don't really know what's going on. Like, you don't know all these innuendos he's saying and all these jokes and whatnot. Like, you don't pick up on that. But when, you get older and become more experienced and that sort of thing, you realize, hey, this show is definitely not for kids. And Johnny Bravo is he's such a fucking pimp, and he's a simp. He loves his mama. Like, Esther. Secret Saturdays, I'm gonna put in B tier. I remember liking it, but I haven't seen it in so long. And then Samurai Jack, what can you say? Get up there. Samurai Jack it's goated. It's not my favorite, but it's goated. Samurai Jack, like, when they brought it back on Adult Swim, I was really hyped. I ended up watching a couple episodes, I didn't finish it, but Samurai Jack was such a cool concept, because, like, Jack really doesn't talk that often. It oftentimes just lets, like, the animation and, like, the screen do the talking, which is something that I really like. I think it's cool how, like, his sword is, like, what Aku is after. He's not even after Jack. He's just after his sword. I guess he's after Jack because he has the sword, but, whatever. Aku's such a cool villain. He just does whatever the fuck he wants. He doesn't give a shit, and Jack's just like, haha, I'm here to stop you. Haha. That's such an interesting art style. It really does. And can we talk about the intro real quick? Like, I haven't talked about intros for, like, a lot of these, but, like, Samurai Jack, Teen Titans, Powerpuff Girls, of course, Pokemon. Of course, you can't talk about intros without talking about Pokemon. Ben 10, what do I remember having an awesome intro? I think Ed, Edd n Eddy has a great intro, but, like, Samurai Jack, Back to the Past with No Way Back. It's a goated show. Alright, now let me see if I want to move anything around here. No, I think I'm fine with this list, actually. Okay, so that's my list. When you get mad at me for putting some things in tiers that you don't like, just, put it in the comments. See ya.